Small disciplines repeated daily create a life most people only wish for. In one day, you can decide your standards. In one day, you can design your direction. In one day, you can prove to yourself that you are not controlled by your past habits. Change what you tolerate. Change what you accept from yourself. Change what you do when no one is watching. Real and lasting change rarely begins with a burst of excitement. It begins with a firm and conscious decision. Motivation is emotional and temporary. It rises when things feel good and disappears when life becomes uncomfortable. A decision, on the other hand, is rooted in commitment. When a person truly decides that something in their life must improve, they stop waiting for the perfect mood and start acting based on purpose. One of the most powerful turning points in anyone's journey is the moment of honest self-reflection. This is the moment when a person stops blaming circumstances, luck, or other people and instead asks a deeper question: what role have my daily habits played in creating my current results? This question is not meant to create guilt. It is meant to create awareness. Awareness is the first step toward improvement because you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Many people try to change their lives by adjusting schedules, downloading new productivity systems, or chasing quick bursts of inspiration. But without raising personal standards, these efforts rarely last. Standards act like an internal rule book that defines what is acceptable and what is not. If someone's standard allows procrastination, inconsistency, and excuses, even the best plans will eventually collapse. However, when a person decides that average effort is no longer acceptable, their behavior naturally begins to align with that new expectation. Raising standards is not about becoming perfect overnight. It is about deciding that certain behaviors, such as wasting valuable time, breaking promises to oneself, or settling for less than one's potential, are no longer tolerable. This shift creates internal pressure in a positive way. Instead of being pushed by fear or external criticism, the person is now pulled forward by a stronger sense of responsibility. Education plays an important role in this process because understanding how habits shape outcomes makes change feel logical rather than emotional. When people learn that repeated small actions compound into significant long-term results, they begin to respect their daily choices. They realize that success is not built on rare heroic efforts, but on consistent, disciplined behavior. Inspiration then gives energy to this understanding. When someone believes that improvement is possible and that their future can be different from their past, hope replaces hesitation. That hope, combined with a clear decision, becomes a powerful force. The moment a person raises their standards and becomes honest about their current habits, they create a new starting point. From that point forward, every small disciplined action, waking up on time, finishing important tasks, managing distractions, becomes evidence that change is already in motion. Over time, these small wins strengthen confidence, and confidence makes it easier to continue. This is why real transformation does not begin with dramatic action. It begins quietly, with a decision backed by honesty. Once that decision is made, the direction of life begins to shift, and consistent effort turns that new direction into lasting results. Clarity is often the missing piece between effort and real progress. Many people work hard every day, yet still feel stuck because their actions are scattered. When direction is unclear, energy gets wasted on tasks that feel busy but do not move life forward. True progress begins when a person pauses long enough to understand what truly matters and what is simply consuming time without meaningful return. Gaining clarity starts with honest evaluation. This means looking at daily routines, commitments, and habits without exaggeration or denial. Instead of asking, "Am I trying my best?" a more powerful question is, are my current actions producing the results I actually want? This shift from intention to outcome helps reveal the gap between where someone is and where they want to be. Awareness of that gap creates focus, and focus is the beginning of purposeful change. When a person identifies what is working in their life, they discover strengths that can be expanded. These may include productive morning hours, supportive relationships, or habits that improve health and mindset. Recognizing these positive elements builds confidence because it proves that not everything needs to be rebuilt, some parts only need to be strengthened. At the same time, identifying what is wasting time, such as unnecessary distraction, endless scrolling, or unplanned days, helps remove silent obstacles that drain energy. Direction becomes powerful when goals are specific and meaningful. Vague intentions like "I want to be successful" or "I want a better life" rarely create action because they do not provide a clear target. When goals are defined with purpose, such as improving a particular skill, building a consistent routine, or achieving a measurable result within a certain time frame, the mind begins to organize behavior around that destination. Clear goals act like a compass, guiding decisions throughout the day. With clarity, productivity becomes more natural rather than forced. Instead of constantly deciding what to do next, a person already knows the priorities. This reduces mental fatigue and increases confidence in daily action. Energy that was previously lost in confusion is now directed toward meaningful progress. Even small steps start to feel valuable because they are connected to a larger vision. Education strengthens this process by teaching that time and attention are limited resources. Understanding that every yes to a distraction is a no to a priority encourages more intentional choices. Inspiration then fuels the willingness to protect that focus, especially when comfort or habit tries to pull attention away. Clarity also reduces fear. Uncertainty often creates hesitation because the mind imagines too many possible outcomes. When the path becomes defined, hesitation decreases and action becomes easier. A clear direction does not guarantee immediate success, but it does guarantee movement, and movement creates momentum. Over time, consistent movement in a defined direction builds discipline, confidence, and measurable results. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable because the person is no longer trying to fix everything at once. They are simply following a clear path, step by step, with purpose guiding their effort. Discipline is often misunderstood as something harsh or restrictive, but in reality it is a form of self-respect in action. It is the daily practice of doing what needs to be done, even when mood, comfort, or convenience suggest otherwise. Goals by themselves are only intentions, and intentions without consistent action rarely produce meaningful results. Discipline is the bridge that turns those intentions into visible progress. Every time a person makes a small promise to themselves, waking up at a planned time, completing an important task before distractions, dedicating focused time to learning or improving a skill, they create an opportunity to strengthen trust within. When that promise is kept, even in a simple way, the mind registers a win. These small wins may appear insignificant in the moment, but they quietly build confidence. Confidence does not come from wishing for a better future. It grows from repeated evidence that you can rely on your own actions. Time management plays a critical role in this process. Many people feel overwhelmed, not because they have too much to do, but because their priorities are unclear and their attention is constantly divided. Discipline helps protect the most valuable hours of the day by assigning them to tasks that create long-term benefit. When important work is completed early, the rest of the day carries less stress and more control. This creates a positive cycle where productivity leads to satisfaction, and satisfaction encourages further discipline. Controlling distractions is another essential part of building consistent results. Modern life is filled with easy escapes, endless notifications, entertainment, and habits that offer quick pleasure but little progress. Discipline does not demand removing all enjoyment. It simply requires choosing the right time for it. When a person learns to delay short-term comfort in favor of long-term gain, they begin to experience a deeper sense of achievement that temporary pleasure cannot provide. Education helps people understand that habits operate like compound interest. A single focused hour each day may not look impressive, but over weeks and months it produces noticeable growth in skill, knowledge, and confidence. Inspiration gives emotional strength during moments when progress feels slow. Together, understanding and belief make it easier to stay consistent even when results are not immediate. Self-respect grows every time you finish what you started. Incomplete tasks drain mental energy because they remain as open loops in the mind. And completing them, even small ones, creates a sense of order and control. This sense of control reduces anxiety and increases motivation to take on bigger responsibilities. Over time, disciplined actions become part of identity rather than effort. What once required strong willpower begins to feel normal. The person who once struggled to stay consistent now naturally protects their time, honors their commitments, and focuses on what truly matters. This is how discipline transforms from a daily struggle into a reliable system that steadily converts goals into real, lasting results. A single intentional day has more power than most people realize because it interrupts the pattern of living on autopilot. Many days pass in repetition, same habits, same distractions, same excuses. And over time, those repeated days quietly shape a person's future. When someone decides that just one day will be lived with full awareness and purpose, it creates a break in that pattern. That break is often the moment where change truly begins. An intentional day does not require perfection. It requires presence and responsibility. From the moment a person wakes up, they become conscious of their choices instead of reacting to impulses. They follow through on simple commitments, getting up on time, organizing their environment, prioritizing meaningful work, and limiting activities that usually waste energy. These actions may appear small, but they send a powerful message to the mind. I am in control of my direction. Choosing responsibility over excuses is one of the most transformative shifts a person can make. It means accepting that while not everything in life is controllable, daily responses always are. Instead of blaming circumstances, time, or lack of motivation, the person focuses on what can be done with the resources available right now. This mindset creates strength because responsibility replaces helplessness with ownership. Growth over comfort is another defining choice within that single day. Comfort often invites delay. I'll start tomorrow, I'll do it later, or I don't feel ready. An intentional day challenges the habit by encouraging immediate action on tasks that truly matter. Even completing one avoided task builds momentum. Momentum is powerful because once movement begins, continuing becomes easier than stopping. That one focused day also becomes proof. Many people doubt their ability to change because they have not recently seen themselves act differently. When they experience a day where they keep promises, manage time wisely, and stay aligned with their priorities, their self-image begins to shift. They no longer see discipline as something impossible. They see it as something they have already practiced. Education helps reinforce the idea that long-term success is simply a collection of well-used days. Years are built from months, months from weeks, and weeks from individual days. When one day is used intentionally, it sets a standard for the next. Inspiration fuels the desire to repeat that experience, not out of pressure, but because the sense of clarity and control feels rewarding. Over time, repeating intentional days creates a new normal. The person who once waited for the right moment begins to create the moment. What started as a single decision becomes a consistent lifestyle. That is how one day lived with purpose and responsibility can become the turning point that gradually reshapes an entire life through steady daily action. Real transformation does not arrive through sudden miracles or temporary bursts of motivation. It is built through awareness, clear direction, disciplined action, and intentional daily choices. When a person becomes honest about their current habits, raises their standards, and gains clarity about what truly matters, they create a strong foundation for meaningful progress. With that foundation in place, discipline begins to convert intentions into results, one small completed promise at a time. An intentional day then becomes more than just a productive period. It becomes proof that change is possible and within personal control. That proof strengthens confidence, and confidence encourages consistency. As consistent days begin to stack together, they gradually reshape identity, priorities, and outcomes. What once felt difficult starts to feel natural because the person is no longer guided by excuses or temporary emotions, but by purpose and responsibility. In the end, a better life is not created by trying to change everything at once. It is created by making wiser decisions repeatedly, protecting time and energy, and choosing growth over comfort. When someone commits to living with clarity, higher standards, and steady discipline, even ordinary days become powerful building blocks for an extraordinary future.